Everyone, welcome back to the Severed Chains Devstream. I have Zycronix here with me again tonight, and we're going to be picking up where we left off. Um, Geez, this was probably, well, I'll just check the pull request. December of last year when we started working on the ability to add new items. Now, Zycronix has successfully added a few new items to the game in the past, because there are several item slots and equipment slots that just aren't used. Um, there is a maximum of what, like 250, 251 items that you can use in the game, and there just aren't quite actually that many items. So Zycronix basically just overwrote some of those empty entries to add some new ones. But there's only maybe, well, do you know roughly how many free item slots there are, Zycronix? 30-ish? Yeah, so, picture you've got, I don't know, three or four different mods installed that all add new items. I mean, they would all have to collaborate amongst themselves to all overwrite different items so that they don't clobber each other's items. But also, 30 is not a whole lot of leeway. You install a few mods and that add items, and very, very quickly you're going to go over that limit. I don't know if anybody remembers back in the old Minecraft days, back before they switched to the registry key system for item IDs, there was a finite limit to the number of blocks and items you could have, or the number of blocks specifically. You could have, I want to say, only 255 blocks, and it was very easy to hit that limit. It was also a pain in the ass for modders because everyone had to kind of agree on which region of IDs they could use. Hey chocolate, hey pony bro. Do I have something running in the background? Like what? Sure, exactly what you mean. Is there background noise or something? Chris? It may have been because I didn't have the YouTube video paused or muted rather. I've got the video up on my computer as well, but I've muted it now, so hopefully it should be fine. Mm. Okay, so to start out with, um, we're going to start making some changes to the Severed Chains code. Right now we still use the legacy item stats table for just about everything. We do have the item registry, but it's just filled up with dummy items that just have a name, and the registry actually isn't used for anything. So let's just pop out to the for a second. I just want to make sure that the item registry loading is still working. 'Cause it's been, like I said, it's been since last December since we worked on any of this. So Pretty close to a year. We just do load a game, so it triggers the registry loading. And now if we look at engine, game engine dot registries dot items. Yeah, so we've got 64 entries here. You can see some of the dummies that don't have names. That's all fine, and we should have equipment as well. And yeah, like I said, these are all just dummy items that don't actually do anything. We're not using these for anything yet. But that is the point of this stream. So the reason that we put this on hold for so long, the reason we put this on hold for so long was because while I could get new items that worked in the field, like you could use them in your inventory screen, no problem. We added some, anybody who might remember those streams, we added two new healing items specifically. Just, yeah, we had the healing poot and the healing tsunami. They're here somewhere. Lots of files. Way more changed files than I expected. Oh my god, too many files. Come on. Where the heck are those classes? Non-existent, apparently. Come on. I just missed them. Could be there. Oh, oh, of course. They were just subclasses of this class. So we added the healing poot that just healed a constant 10 hit points. And we had the healing tsunami that recovered 100% of your hit points, MP and SP. Now, issue was, because basically the entirety of combat is scripted, including the menus, um, we weren't actually able to get them working in combat. However, now that we have a much more powerful script recompiler, um, that we should be able to actually get this working. I don't think that no, in the last stream we had just started working on the no, we had gotten the recompiler working, didn't we? Yeah. Um, so since then I have made several improvements. It's actually working really, really well, and we've been able to start using it to recompile some scripts, make some basic changes. I have unfortunately identified some major issues with it, which I kind of expected going into it because due to the nature of what the project was, we couldn't really know what we were going to run into until it was actually like mostly functional. Some assumptions that I made pretty early on that are really baked into it um, are making it basically impossible to fix some issues with some scripts. So I have started working on a new version of it already, but for what we're doing here, the current version should work pretty well. Yeah, it works pretty well to decompile most stuff. Um, but there are certain scripts with certain layouts that it just can't deal with. It's not a huge issue until we get into editing in-game dialogue, which of course is one of the main use cases for these. Um, there's a group of people who are in the process of working on a fully voiced mod for the game. I'm not going to say anything more than that about that now, but they very much need to be able to edit the game dialogue. We'll talk about that a little bit more when once they're into the project a bit. Yeah, chocolate. It was a long time ago. Okay, right, so we have the name description and combat description. We're gonna need to move most of the stuff over from the item stats into the actual item class. Yeah, they're a very, very talented group of people. They've done some very popular voice mods for other games as well. Again, I'm not going to go into this right now, but yeah, we'll talk about that more once we're ready. Pretty likely that some of the people here have probably seen some of their work for other games. Right. So, character equipment. Now, this is going to require a new save format or an update to the D3 serializer. Need to change all of the references to items into registry keys. That's probably going to be the biggest job here. Here's a question. Do we use a direct reference to the item, or do we use a registry delegate? Um, well, the question is, um, So the item itself would be the registry entry. So as long as these references don't persist in between registry reloads, we can use a reference directly to the item. Um, However, if any of these references exist for longer, like over the boundary of a registry dump and reload, um, then it'll have to be a delegate because the delegate is able to maintain like update its internal reference when registries are reloaded. I don't know, are you familiar with the registry dumping and reloading? I don't know. Okay, so that's the reason that we're able to hot swap mods while the game is running. Um, when mods are reloaded, it'll actually like completely dump the registries, basically deleting all of the loaded items, equipment, and everything, and repopulate them. That is the purpose of a registry delegate. So, of course, if you had a hard reference to an item and then the registry was dumped, then you have a reference to an item that is no longer in a registry, and weird things are going to happen. However, if you have a registry delegate, then it is aware of the registry lifecycle, and every time you access it, it will automatically give you an up-to-date reference, even if the registries were reloaded. So, registries are booted there. Game state is not loaded until first. Fine. Oh, has Zychronix not been picking up? Whoops. Can you try talking now?
No, thank you.
Okay, it's working. All right. Well, that was a bunch of me talking to myself. Anyway, we're good. We're good now. So, yeah, the game state is loaded there as well. Okay, so we can use direct references without having to worry about it. Hmm. While we are in here, do we want to make the equipment list expandable? Lay the groundwork for adding new equipment types. Might as well.
Okay, I want 5 ring slots.
What are the equipment slots in order, Psychronics?
Weapon, armor, helmet, boots, and accessory.
Hey Justin, how's it going? We are in the process of making it so that mods can add new items to the game. This is something we started at the end of last year, um, last December, but we hit a major roadblock due to the scripting engine, um, because we weren't able to edit any of the scripts, and all of the item usage in combat, even like the button mashing, is all handled in scripts. Now that we have the new script recompiler, it's time to revisit that. Not app.
Oh no, I got the order wrong. It's
Ooh,
weapons, helmet, armor, boots, accessory.
weapon, helmet, boots, armor, accessory.
Weapon, helmet, armor, boots,
Okay, I was gonna say that doesn't
accessory.
sound right. Okay, this dot equipment dot clear. This dot, put all. There we go. Dot equipment. All right, now this is going to light up like a Christmas tree. Oh yeah, you remember? I'm surprised. This is gonna just make it a lot easier for now. We'll do this later so that we aren't reliant on the pick value. We'll definitely want to make it so that mods can say that equipment can go into multiple slots as well. Be pretty interesting. It'll be pretty refactor heavy stream. Maybe a whole lot of rewriting code. Equipment item and consumable item. Still makes sense. Yeah, we were talking about multi-equipping, but kind of in the opposite direction where you could have like an item that could be put into different slots. Um, like maybe we have I don't know, something like let's say necklace and ring slots, and you had a ring that could either be like worn on a necklace and does one thing, or worn as a ring then does something else. This should be equipment. The strange things they do. Why, why return hex 100? Um, oh yeah, I mean that does also kind of pave the way for dual wielding and things like that too, but that's definitely a story for another day. We're gonna have to return a class here. Your result. Need to indicate whether could be equipped, and also what the previous equipment was. Results. Um, all this enum. card. Gonna call it equip item for now. Um, we'll have equipped. I guess I can just do going to be a equip item bolt. And let's make a couple of helper methods here. Equip item result dot failure. Don't need that anymore. I'm pretty sure that it is inevitable at some point someone will add a crafting system to the game one way or another. It cannot be stopped.
Someone's gonna add all of Minecraft. Uh, their crafting system in LOD.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna leave some errors for now simply because super easy to fix yet. I mean, some people are dead set against um crafting systems. I don't mind them most of the time. As long as it doesn't like slow the gameplay down super bad, like you've got to craft every single goddamn thing you use. Pretty sure we can just do this in a loop. That's just it's just a delta of 14 in between each element. It's silly they did it this way in the first place. Definitely not the silly thing they've done. And again, exact same thing here. Fourteen. Equipment stats table go. Is probably easier to just, yeah, probably easier to just copy this. We'll be retiring these classes anyway. This becomes equipment dot from file name should do it for that for now. Get all that information on the actual equipment object. Then instead of having to do a table lookup, that's just a value on the equipment now. Question is, do we need this check to see if it is an item or not? I don't think so. If we do for some reason, then we'll fix that one at the sword. That shouldn't be a thing. Maybe we will just bust this out here for now. Um, Final set. Uh, I'm not going to do the slots yet, because it might make certain things weird. Will it? Can you think of any issues that using a set for equipment cause? Is there anywhere that equipment is categorized or anything, Zychronics?
Categorized in what way?
Like categorized by slot?
No, other than the actual slot identifier, not really.
Yeah,
Everything's ordered by icon too.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well, let's just do this and see what happens. The worst happens. Okay, so open slot. Um, if the right by the ordinal, then we add that slot. Now the question is this type even used? And it's not. So we can just uh okay, no, it'll complicate the code too much for now to do multi-slots. So we'll just do one for now and then save that later. not really a difficult thing to do. We will type. Actually tried this before, but apparently not work. So just use a regular loop. That works. But well, list becomes a list of equipment. Then not are needed. New items are going to get more small. So that removes this method. So it I guess on the class A can be discarded. a lot easier for mods to well. Items. We need to do some thing there. That'll work. All right. Well, this is kind of weird. Um, on the shop screen, they actually check if items can be discarded, but there are no items that cannot be discarded.
Items or equips?
Item. Well, they check for both, but this method only handles equips. If it's greater
There's
than 192, then it just returns false.
the only item you can't discard is the Dragon Buster.
That's an equip, right?
Yeah,
That's flag hex 4. I think we might need to make a super class for item. Um, Now in the previous iteration of this, I had actually combined the item and equipment registry into one registry. I had a very good reason for that. Fortunately, I can't remember it. I'm thinking I am gonna do that here as well. Because I do remember having a very good reason for doing it. Although I'm thinking of it, like no menus where they are treated as might have just been an attempt to get the scripts to work, since the scripts treat them as the same thing.
I think it was something with the scripts. It didn't work if they were in all in one registry or something.
They were in separate registries. Um, the only coming to mind an issue would be best be either items or equipment. Um, I don't know. What do you think? One registry or two? Like they are handled very differently by the engine. There's not really a whole lot of overlap aside from, there is an item list that can be used to either display items or equipment, and they can like all come in chests.
I'd say two.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Undo this rename I did. Going to split those. Name be discarded. The prices. Deal with that. Items left to be changed. Yeah, just started. I'll have to split the sell price event into sell item and sell equipment. Copy of this. S doing place. We have around at this. Yeah, menu item stuff be refactored to support all this. Done in the shop screen. That's gonna need to be here to try and get this first. So now we get into some of the weird stuff. So we've got the give item method. So this can either give an item or equipment, depending on the ID. Um, so that bit, we need to go through all of these methods and see if they are actually possibly dropping equipment. Very first is enemy drops. Actually need. Okay, so we are going to refactor drops a bit so that they're more flexible. Gone. Technically, this will make it so that you can even make enemies drop non-item things, like probably extra experience or something like that, or just do weird stuff. Leave that as an exercise for the others. Oh, that is dumbass code going to. I am gonna delete this variable. Hey, what's up, Devoid dude? How's it going? No, sorry, I was just thinking about something. That is thing to be able to set the dropped item count. think the thing that can be done. Gonna do that. 0. No, this isn't the original source code. Basically, I disassembled the compiled game. So I took the data on the disk, like the executable file, decompiled it, and then translated it back into source code myself. So this is all code that I wrote, but it is translated from the assembly code, like the original game assembly code. So aside from the changes that we've made, it's basically one to one with the original source code. I think we're pretty much going to get rid of this. Yeah, it was a very long process, Lloyd. I mean, it took pretty close to 2 years before the game was playable. Well over a year before you could even like use the title screen menu. Was not an easy process. Okay, so this is actually modifying the item list. Did do it. Okay, so this method returns 0 if it successfully added the item, gave the item. So if it's non-zero, we increment the count. So if we have a non-zero count, it means that some items were not given. Um, this is removing the items that it successfully gave from the list. Yeah, I mean, the very first huge relief and great satisfaction came the very first time that I saw it actually like long before long before anything was usable, long before there was any kind of screen or anything. Just during the bootstrap process, it started loading some of the game files, and that was probably the first time where it was like, maybe this is actually gonna go somewhere. Yeah, I wrote all this from scratch. After a while, I wrote a program that was able to do the first pass of the disassembly. So I'd copy and paste the assembly into a text file. Well, this text file actually, and then run the program, and it did like a very basic initial conversion, and then I would clean that up and restructure it into control statements like if statements, for loops, and stuff like that. Basically, it does the slog of converting every single one of these things line by line into the Java code framework that I wrote for it. Still a big part of the process that has to be done manually, but that drastically reduced the number of errors just from like mistakes from translating each line. Some methods, like this is a pretty small method. This would only be a few lines of Java code. Some methods are literally like thousands or tens of thousands of assembly ops. The worst offender was the game menu, like the inventory screen menus. Every single menu is done in a gigantic, like several hundred case switch statement, and the method is like, I don't know, it was like 20,000 lines long or something. Without that tool, it wouldn't have been possible. No way. And yeah, I did probably still do need bullet mine purifiers. Came out the other side of that different. Okay, so the enemy drop actually needs to be a clean supplier. The list drops and being give item. But we need to return value as well. We'll have it return true for success, and if it returns false, that means killed. Huh. Yeah, there's a lot of spots in the code where I wouldn't say that they followed best practices. We'll just say that. Okay, that can just be a remove call. Going to do that. We don't need the item count. Size. that. Item slot. Now that's going to be an issue because we are iterating, so we're going to have to switch this over to iterator. Gonna be that has enemy drop, drop. This is it. Not that. Complete variable or know why that was in the first place. That check anywhere. Okay, so we're gonna have to expand this a bit. Int get item icon. Hate to say it, but at least it was you this time and not me. Seems to be going pretty smooth on the laptop. No hiccups whatsoever. I completely reinstalled Windows. I updated my BIOS and swapped network cables. And yeah, my desktop is still just like disconnecting from the internet every 40 seconds or so. It'll disconnect for like a second and a half and then reconnect fine. No idea why. I'm guessing the motherboard's probably just shot. So we're gonna have to do something to upgrade previous saves. Yeah. Okay, so we need to update the V3 serializer, or well, the V3 deserializer to still be able to read legacy saves. Very important, obviously. We need a way to map the old item IDs to the new registry name. For now, we only need to do it with equipment. Equipment comes first, right, Zycronics?
Yes, equipment is first.
How hacky do we want to go here? This is terrible, but it's what we're doing for now. You can just new up registry delegates. I don't think I did. Oh. Like I said, we're just going real hacky for this. Maybe code get. Hold on. Potential issue here. I think saves are loaded before saves loaded before the registries are loaded.
I only remember that equips are available at the load save screen. I'm not sure exactly when it's loaded.
Look at when the loaded event is fired. Hmm. So the save is loaded before registries. Okay, so I was wrong there. These do need to be registry delegates. Is slightly going to use, but should be 5. This needs to be able to handle engine code changing, but still be able to load. So create a v4 serializer. Very similar to the v3 serializer. Going to do think we should be able to use registries. Hopefully that'll work. I'm pretty sure you can still get a registry delegate. Even if the registry get update serializer, delete the pre-serializer, pre-saves. Or there was a method on delegate. Oh, right. Now part of an external mod loader registry or repository, so I can't actually change it without releasing a new version anymore. Oh well, do that. Plots. Plot time. The registry ID. We are gonna have to update the old deserializers as well because we have a pretty strict policy of backwards compatibility. I'll find out soon enough if it doesn't work.
I'm assuming it will crash in battle.
Oh, it'll crash long before then. Ready for deserializer. So we're gonna do something kind of hacky here. We are going to switch over to the Eclipse compiler because it has a feature that will allow you to run code that is completely broken. It will just run up until a point where the code is actually like broken. So let's go in here, duplicate this and call it error check. Build no error check. Move build. Now this will recompile. It's gonna spit out a ton of errors, but it will still run. Well, I mean, it'll run up until a point where it encounters an error, which is probably going to be very early. Yeah. Okay, so we can't load into game. Okay, this. Oh no, I don't think that. Yeah, okay. That wasn't actually crashing because it was trying to do something with items. It was just crashing because there is an error here. Now I do wonder if this is actually necessary. We're gonna do that for now. Problem. So we're just gonna stub those out for now. See if they're actually even used. Or it's can throw a little bit of a wrench in my plans, but well, throw a wrench in my plans for loosening the restrictions on enemy drops, but we'll see. Okay, so this is working. Yeah, crashes as we go to menu. So this needs to be converted to an enum map. Um, equipment slot, equipment. That should be registry, delegate. Then what call? We'll have to update the equipment stats event. We just change this to equipment. Um, no, can't, because this allows passing a new equipment. Um, we're gonna have to comment that out for now. For now. Wonder if this is actually used. I'd be willing to bet that it's not.
No equipment type is used.
On the character.
Yeah.
What's it used for?
1 second. That's how the game determines what slot it should go into.
No, I'm referring to specifically the values on the battle objects.
Oh, yeah, probably not then.
Because yeah, all that data is copied over the battle object for some reason. Why? Oh. And it's super annoying to have to use the registry delegates is trying to think of a decent way to avoid that. We could have like a temporary the registry ID. We do that. Pretty sure that'll work. Otherwise, we would need to pass around registry delegates everywhere, and that is real annoying. So this instead just becomes matched ID. Better anyway. A lot nicer to work with. Then add a method here that will sync everything register. This is the dot equipment. And we also need to do the same thing for the character data. They all have their own equipment. Just occurred to me what happens if the character doesn't have equipment. Is it possible for a character to have nothing equipped in a slot, Zychronics?
Oops.
Yes.
Nothing will happen.
Is it possible to do that in retail, or is it just hacking?
No, it's oh wait. No, you can't do that in retail. You have to hack it in.
Um, well, we will support that anyway. All that. Date dot is there and so there. Okay, I think that'll work. We've gone back and forth on this 3 or 4 times. This back to just delegates. Crashed immediately. See how that crashed. This it didn't crash before. The stats.equipment.clear. Like that again. Oh yes. Because I this can't reboot me. Because this dot ID is oh, gonna have to take a look at this and what's up. Could be that we messed something up in the deserializer. Like how I say we, like it's any of your fault.
No, it's all you. Or
Okay,
we
well
can
this is
blame Drew.
yeah, we'll blame Drew. They're not here. This might be the issue. We're not actually loading anything into that array apparently, or we're loading all null values somehow. Okay, so let's start at the beginning here and make sure we're actually setting up the map properly. So 0 to yeah, it makes sense. And bunch here. Okay, yeah. So we seem to have a proper map. Um, Now let's jump into the ah, we not no. I mean it's got a bunch of nulls added to it, so it had to have yeah, it's got 171 nulls. So it had to have run through there. Is this just an older save? That is possible. I don't this isn't one of my saves, so it might just be an older realizer and not. See here. Unless this loaded for uh that loaded before the mod, of course. So instead of this being an ID, or no, instead of this being a list registry ID, it just an int list. And then we look up the, yeah, okay, this will work. Here, equip these lookups, realizers. Oh, sorry, I've been completely ignoring chat. But we are one. This is going to be dumb, but this is real questionable code. We're gonna roll with it. Oh, uh, back to an enum map. Yeah, true. True enough. issue with the V4 serializer actually. Writing it for equipment, writing it there as well. To update where it's being read. ID. Pretty sure this will work now. Like a little short. An error was it just a lot of log? That was an error though. Uh, didn't update the other serializers. We'll get there. Probably can't hear it, but one of my cats is snoring super loud right now.
That's because it's bedtime.
Yeah, it is. It is getting pretty close to bedtime here. Okay, that is working. This is still gonna crash. Oh no, it didn't crash. All right, something's gonna crash here. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So items aren't crashing. We haven't really updated items yet, though. So yeah, equipment definitely should. Okay, I am going to. Can I take my mic out of the? No. Okay. I was gonna take my mic out and see if I could record Freya snoring, but yeah, I can't take it out without unplugging it, unfortunately. I don't think at least. Sorry if this is loud. Screwing around with the mic right now. No. Okay. I was gonna try and take it out and see if I could get if I could record Freya snoring, but no, unfortunately not. I assure you that it sounds ridiculous. All right. Well, as Iconic said, it is starting to get pretty late, so I think we'll probably wrap it up here. Anyone have any questions before we go? Iconics, do you have anything to say before we wrap it up?
Mm, no, nothing for me.
Yeah, I know this wasn't a particularly glamorous stream by any means. Uh, we did make some pretty decent progress towards switching over to the item registries. It's a pretty big job, um, and it'll take a little while to finish it all and get it all working. But I mean, once that's done, it'll be really, really easy for mods to add new items and equipment, and there won't be any issues with like mods overlapping or anything like that. So it'll just be, a huge benefit in general, and we can finally do it now that we can actually edit script. But yeah, thanks to everyone for watching, for tuning in and sticking around. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Azerthial 12R and Dart Red Dragoon for recent donation. And a big thanks to my monthly supporters, the Packle, J-Man 001, Deningrad, Sparta, Shepherd, Zach, Chocolate, Platinum Sarge, Doom Metal, Milk Lizard, an anonymous subscriber, and Vince East. If for some reason you want to encourage this, there is a link to my Ko-fi profile in the chat, as well as in the description of the video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and